Sustainable Development Goals of the UN. The 17 Sustainable Development Goals by the UN are brought to life to ensure sustainable development worldwide on an economic, social, and ecological level. In this video, we will focus on 5 of these topics. So let's begin with goal number 9. The goal is to build a resilient infrastructure, promote effective and sustainable industries, and foster innovation worldwide. So what needs to be done? We need a stable infrastructure for economic development. Also, we need to increase the access for smaller industries, particularly in developing countries. On top of that, it's important to have an efficient use of resources, clean and environmentally friendly technologies and innovations. Also, it's important to expand the access to information and communication technologies. We need to create jobs to reduce poverty. And last but not least, it's important to facilitate global trade and connectivity. So what's the status quo? You can pause the video to have a closer look. The global manufacturing growth slowed down due to inflation, global economic crisis, supply disruption, and energy price shock. In 2022, CO2 emissions has never been higher with 36.8 billion tons. The 10th goal is reduced inequalities. There are a variety of inequalities based on income, sex, age, disability, class, ethnicity, religion, chances, and opportunities. The goal is to reduce these inequalities within and among the nations. So what can we do? We can ensure equal opportunity and reduce inequalities of income if we eliminate discriminatory laws, policies, and practices. Also, we can invest in health, education, social protection, and decent jobs. Furthermore, developing countries should be better represented on making decisions for global issues. Finding solutions would be more effective and more accurate. And last but not least, promoting migration for people who seek for a better life due to war, discrimination, and the lack of opportunity. So what's the status quo? COVID has triggered the increase of inequalities between countries worldwide. In 2022, the number of refugees hit a record of 34.6 million. Women are twice as likely as men to experience discrimination. Our next goal is Goal 11, Sustainable Cities and Communities. The goal is to make human settlement and cities sustainable, safe, resilient, and inclusive. So what has to be done? We need basic services for everyone. We need to rehabilitate slums. Also, we need safe, affordable, and sustainable transport systems. Furthermore, we have to pay particular attention to the needs of people. We need to make urbanization more sustainable. Additionally, we have to reduce environmental pollution in cities to improve the air quality and waste treatment. And nevertheless, we have to have access to safe green spaces and public parks. So what's the status quo? 1.1 urban residents are living in slums. 2 billion more are expected in the next 30 years. Air pollution is no longer a problem of urban areas, but also of smaller towns. Coming to our next goal, Goal 12. The primary goal is to ensure sustainable consumption and production. So what can we do? Companies should be encouraged to keep their social and ecological risks low. The use of chemicals should become more environmentally friendly. Also, creating innovation and design solutions can inspire individuals and lead to more sustainable lifestyles, reducing impacts and improving well-being. On top of that, being thoughtful about what we buy and choose. We need to choose sustainable options whenever possible, for example, fair trade. Furthermore, we need to reduce the waste of food and consumption of plastic. We need to promote recycling and safely dispose hazardous waste. And nevertheless, if possible, buy local and sustainable sources. The consequence is that we put pressure on the industries to produce sustainable. But what's the status quo? Despite calls for a phase out, fossil fuel subsidies return and almost double because of global crisis. 62 countries plus the European Union have introduced nearly 500 policies for sustainable consumption between 2019 and 2022. The last goal of this video is Goal 15, Life on Land. The goals are to conserve and restore terrestrial and freshwater ecosystems, to restore degraded forests and land, to combat global poaching and trafficking, and to protect biodiversity and natural habits, and integrate it in governmental planning. So what needs to be done? These are only a few examples, and of course not everyone has to follow everything. We can support charity. We could also visit local animal shelters. On top of that, we can recycle. Additionally, we can clean our local green space. Also, we could volunteer in organizations. Furthermore, we can use less paper, or we can check our labels. Not to be forgotten, we can compost, and we don't need to use pesticides. And last but not least, we can always stay informed. Let's have a closer look to the status quo. Currently, we are facing the largest species extinction ever since the dinosaur age. Forest loss and land degradation are escalating and represent a severe threat to the planet. You can pause the video for the status quo overview. And also for the Progress Chart 2023. There's also a summary in the link from the United Nations. Sadly, up to this date, the nations of the world are not doing very well when it comes to implement these goals. This is also a central criticism of the SDGs. Obviously, our world cannot be saved just by writing down good ideas. It is the implementation that counts. Our conclusion is that even though the SDGs are not perfect, they do at least provide a path towards a better world that 193 countries have agreed to and at least try to follow. They hopefully remind all nations and companies of their impact on our planet. It is our responsibility. So, what do you think? And what could you, as an individual, could do better? Write it in the comment section.